Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. It's the big one. It's England against France in a World Cup quarter-final. Can England do it? Of course they can. But let's look at this game, how it will be won, how it will be lost, where the weaknesses are and where the strengths are. And ultimately, what's going to happen in this game? Because you listen to some people and England are going to bring it home, and you listen to others and France are going to send us home with our tails between our legs because they're way better than us. And I think the truth is probably somewhere in between. First of all, it's a World Cup quarter-final. Anything can happen. We've seen Morocco knock Spain out as underdogs. If England are truly the underdogs, we've got more quality in our team than Morocco to actually cause a shock. So I'm not writing England off. Ever since we knocked Senegal out, I just had a feeling. Sometimes you get a feeling, and I do have that feeling. And look, in a nutshell, this game comes down to Gareth Southgate. He is the weakness. Now, look, I'm not a fan of Southgate. I would have got rid of him a long, long time ago. But there is an opportunity for this man, this coach, to defy logic and deliver something that no England manager has done on foreign soil, which is a World Cup, and that has to be the incentive. He's certainly got the players. Look, I think the players are fantastic. I think that squad is fantastic, and I think that if they don't achieve a trophy from the last three tournaments, it's because of the coaching. But those players are with this manager 100%, and they're going to give 100%. So look, Gareth Southgate is on the cusp of something sensational, epic, historic. And it's for him to do that. I can criticise him, you can criticise him, you can praise him, but ultimately, this is what this game comes down to on Saturday night. Didier Deschamps has been criticised in the past by the French, and he's won them a World Cup. And they are a very good tournament side. The way he manipulates the team, the way he grows the team through a tournament. I mean, I don't think in 2018 they ever really got out of the... they ever really got going, and they never needed to. I think in this tournament, funnily enough, they have. They played some fantastic stuff in the group stage, and they were very efficient against Poland, as we saw. So England need to go into this game with the right attitude. Now, the right attitude for me is not the traditional Southgate attitude of defence first. If we get a goal, hold on to it. I don't think you can do that. I think you've got to go into that game with the mindset of all scenarios. And I know Spain and Luis Enrique ended up looking stupid for all their Twitch conversations about all the penalties they'd been practicing and everything, and they crashed out to Morocco. But I do think that there was some truth in that. You've got to go into this game with absolutely every base covered. What happens if we go 1-0 down? What happens if we go 1-0 up? What happens if we go 2-0 up or 2-0 down? And I think Gareth Southgate can simplify this by just making the mental approach to this game to be this. We've got to give as much as we can. Now, that goes without saying efforts, but I'm not talking about that. We've got to push. We've got to push them. If we concede anything, ground, goals, we're in trouble. We've got to go in there with the attitude that man for man, we're as good as them, and therefore our team is as good as them, and therefore we can beat them. And we've got to go in with that attitude. We can't be scared of the ball over the top, so we drop 10 yards. We can't be scared of their ability to keep with the ball, so we just drop and deprive them of space. We have got to go on the front foot. And if we don't do that, and I don't mean go on the front foot and attack, but a game will go like a roller coaster. You watch Germany-Spain the other week. I mean, it was a great game. Spain had more possession, but it went back and forth. France will have chances, but we've got to make sure we're having chances. And when we get the ball, we hurt France. We can't be counter-attacking. I think that's a mistake. We can win counter-attacking. And if we win on Saturday night, people will say, oh, you were wrong. We counter-attacked and won. But is that how we're going to win the World Cup? Counter-attacking. Cowardly sitting back and hitting on the break. I don't think that's the way to go. I think we've got better players than that. When we truly believe in this tournament, we've played our best football. We were crap in the first half against Wales. We scored a goal and we believed and we played well. We were crap for 35 minutes against Senegal. We scored a goal, we believed and we played well. We can do that. And I think that's what we're going to need to do. Most of our team know those French players, and there's no fear factor. The fear is the collective. France, World Cup winners, know what they're doing, know how to win. Against England, collective, don't really know how to win. Individually, there is no fear, and that's what we need to live off. If I was the coach, I'd be saying, look, this is our game plan. We're going to go for them as much as they go for us. When they're attacking, we defend, but when we get the ball, we progress. We don't just counter, we progress. And if we have to be patient in that progress and keep a bit of possession, we'll do that. We're going to try and do what they do. And look, Bellingham, you're up against Rabiot and Tchouaméni. You can mix it with them. Declan Rice the same. You can deal with Griezmann. Henderson, you've been fantastic in this tournament. Harry Kane, you're used to playing against people like Rafael Varane and Upamecano. Saka up against Hernandez, you can deal with that. Foden up against Koundé, you're used to doing that for Man City. Maguire and Stones, you're playing against Giroud. He's not going to hurt you for pace. You can deal with that. Walker, Mbappe, best player in the world. Everyone's going to keep the eye on you. But look, I will say this. If we focus on Mbappe, we're idiots. I've heard people saying if we deal with Mbappe, we win the game. Like Griezmann, Giroud and Dembele haven't been fantastic. If we focus too much on Mbappe, we'll lose. They're not a one-man team. He's the greatest player in that team, but that team's been fantastic. It's won a World Cup and it's doing very well in this tournament. If we over-focus on Mbappe, we'll lose. Imagine if we start moving over to the Mbappe side. Every time Mbappe gets the ball, Declan Rice, you pull over, Jordan Henderson pull over, flip the ball out to Dembele, 1v1 versus Luke Shaw. And that, Luke Shaw's a good left back, but he needs support as well. I wouldn't overcompensate about Mbappe. I'd think about what we've got. What if Bellingham gets past Tchouaméni? What are they going to do? Like, it's 11 against 11. I'd play the game 11 against 11. He's on John Stone's side. He's on Kyle Walker's side. Saka knows how to support his fullback. I wouldn't do anything special. I really wouldn't be thinking Declan Rice pull across. I completely disagree with the pundits and so-called experts who are saying, oh, Declan Rice has got to pull across and, almost be a back five to double up on Mbappe. He's fantastic, but we're England. We're not Poland. We're not Australia. We don't need to double up on Mbappe because we'll deprive ourselves as our game plan. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The minute we start doubling up on Mbappe is the minute our game plan's out the window because we're conceding that France are the favourites and they're going to attack and we're going to counter-attack. It's brave, but I would go man for man. We can beat them. Let's have a game of football. Not let's double up here, double up there and try and counter-attack. And that's why it goes back to Gareth Southgate for me. We can win with the counter. We can do that, but I don't think we need to. I think if we want to win this, we're not trying to beat France. We're trying to win the tournament. If we counter-attack against France, are we going to counter-attack against Brazil in the final or Portugal in the semi? Damn right we are. We're not going to get away counter-attacking against three teams. One of them will beat us because counter-attacking football is eventually going to catch you out. You might be able to do it on one occasion, but you won't do it 3 times in a row. So if we want to win this World Cup, we've got to go and play France like we want to win the World Cup. And if we're going to play France like we want to win the World Cup, we've got to beat them because we're better than them. We've got to show that we can go into a game against Brazil and Portugal after this and beat them, not by counter-attacking. So it's about how Southgate approaches this game. I don't know how he's going to approach it. I certainly think I'd be stunned if we go with a back five now. That would be a complete and utter, we're going to counter-attack. And I don't think he can do that. And as well, if you go with the back five, you're going to lose one of your attackers, of course. So I think that I'll be back in a minute, mate. Okay. Seb just trying to interrupt, saying that you've got to double up on Mbappe, and don't worry, I'll educate him in a bit. But no, I do feel that any predictions in this game are very, very difficult and could lead you exposed. All I can say is I have this hunch that England will win, and I certainly would say this on percentages of winning this game. I think some people think there's a 80% chance France win it and a 20% chance England win it. And of course, a draw doesn't matter because someone will win it. So I genuinely think some people think, we're 20% chance of winning underdogs. I do not believe that France have an 80% chance of winning this game. I actually think it's 60-40, maybe even 55-45. But to be generous, 60-40. They are favourites, but in my mind, they're not massive favourites. And therefore, you're almost flipping a coin on this game. And I think England can do it. I don't even think penalties are a problem. I don't think penalties are a problem for this team. The one thing I will, and I wish I'd done it at the start, because same with United is the same with England. My criticism is not just, blatant, I can't acknowledge and praise. What is absolutely without doubt with me is that Gareth Southgate has improved the camaraderie, team spirit and mentality of England. He has. He's a nice guy. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's what he is. He's a nice guy. The players like him. And I think our mentality is good. And I think in a penalty shootout, we're not what we maybe were. I think we can win on penalties if it comes to that. But what my criticism is, I just do not think he is that level of coach. I do not believe he'd get a job in the Premier League. And if anyone did give him a job in the Premier League, they'd be making a big mistake. And I think that's why the England job has been perfect for him. And that's why the FA want to keep him, because he's a nice guy. He's very political, says the right things. He's liked by the players. He's put an amazing structure in place around the mentality, which is important. Unfortunately, he just lacks in the coaching. And you can be a brilliant man manager. He's done a lot of work behind the scenes from coming through the under-21s. And I do believe that when Southgate goes, there is a risk that the mentality of the team could drop off, but the coaching will go up, because that's where he lacks for me. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about trying to beat France, and I think we can beat France. I will say I think we will beat France, because that's a hunch. I can't guarantee it, but that is my hunch that we will win. I feel that we might go 1-0 down and win it 2-1, but I just think we are a 90-minute team. And I said this on the Ben Foster fill-in, and it's very obvious. This World Cup suits us. It suits us like a glove. A well-fitting glove or trainer, it's comfy. This tournament, we've got a massive advantage that we don't normally have. Summer tournaments don't suit Premier League players. We don't have a winter break. We play relentless football, and it's a very competitive league. That's why it's the best league in the world. So when you have a summer tournament in June, most Premier League players, they're coming off 9 months with no winter break, very competitive. They're knackered. The Germans, the Spanish, the Italian leagues, they have a winter break, and maybe their league isn't as competitive. Look at this World Cup. 3 months into the season, we are our conditioning is probably peak, and we've been a very good second half team. So I just don't feel that we are massive underdogs in this game. But I'll go back to what I said at the start. I think it comes down to Southgate's approach and how he approaches this game. And I'm not saying don't be defensive, but what I am saying is be, when we've got the ball, let's keep the ball. Let's progress. I don't want to see this side-to-side shit. I don't want to see Maguire and Stones passing it side to side. I want to see progressive passing, but I don't want to see every time we get the ball, let's try and exploit them on the break because they've been attacking us for 10 minutes. I want us to get the ball. They can drop their defence. We'll move up the pitch and we'll work it in their half. That's what I want to see. I want to see 50-50 possession. And the only way you don't get 50-50 possession if you're a counter-attacking team. So we have got to defend at times. They will attack us. But when we get the ball, let's have a bit of the possession ourselves and not passing it around the back. Let's have it in their final third. And that's the difference for me. Counter-attacking football will be low possession. We can still win, but it will be low possession. I want 50-50 possession where we get the ball and we've got possession in their half and we're comfortable with it. And, they've got to defend against us. And that's the big thing for Southgate. We've got the players to do it. It's whether he gives them the advice to do it. Because I've seen in some games, you've got Harry Maguire and John Stones and Declan Rice and a few others. They get the ball, they have a look up, they have another touch, then they pass it sideways or backwards. That's easy to change. You just say to your team, I don't want any of you, when you're under no pressure, taking 2 or 3 touches and keeping the ball for 2 or 3 seconds. When you're under no pressure, you get it out your feet, 2 touch max, 2 seconds max. Let's move the ball quickly. Even if they've got to go forward to go backwards, none of this side-to-side shit. Let's set the tempo, and I think we need to do that because we're a good team when we do. Anyway, get your comments in below. What are your thoughts? On team, I think you go with the same team as Senegal. You could bring Rashford in. I don't think he will. You could go to a back 5. I don't think he will. Same team as Senegal, and then we can go from there knowing that we've got options on the bench. Final prediction, 2-1 England in normal time. Maybe go 1-0 down, 2-1 win. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like. We're back with the watch-alongs tomorrow, of course. It's Netherlands, Argentina tomorrow night, and it's Brazil, Croatia at 3 o'clock. We'll have both those for you. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.